In this video, we're going to discuss which marks women you should choose to build a team around.
It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
What is up, heroes of Dominion? My name is Charlie. This is Hero Wars Central, and in today's video, I thought it would be fun to compare Ginger and Keira, just like we've done in the past with Kark and Keira and you know, Lars and Kai and all of that. There is a Ginger event happening either tonight or tomorrow night on Herowarsmobile. So, you know, good time to put it out there. I've been meaning to do some Ginger videos for a long time, and I think that this is a fantastic start. So speaking of starting, you get Ginger basically day one, right? Here's chapter one, ruled by fire. You get Ginger, you know, very early on in the game. Within seconds of starting a brand new account, you get access to Ginger. And Keira is not until chapter 3, but still pretty early. You could often get access to her the same day you start playing, maybe even day 2. But the point that I'm trying to make is you get both of these marks people, these marks women, you get both of these marks women relatively early on in the campaign. Now, what this video is going to be doing as I go through the stats and the skills and the artifacts and all of that is breaking down the key differences between the two. There are some small differences, but they're overall very similar heroes. So why is Keira more often chosen for in-game and mid-game teams than Ginger is, when Ginger is in so much of the marketing and you actually get her a little earlier? Well, let's take a look at the maxed stats side by side. This is mobile stats. If you want to get all the stats, go to herowarscentral.com and sort by, you know, whatever metric you want to look at. But I thought it'd be fun to put these head to head just to kind of take a look at things, and you'll notice some things right off the gate. First of all, armor penetration. Keira is number 1 on mobile for armor penetration, and she has been for a little while. Ginger is in 5th place. It's important for a damage dealer to provide their own armor penetration. And while we're on the subject, let's talk about physical attack for physical damage. Ginger actually has the highest physical attack on mobile, which I didn't think that was the case, but apparently it is the case. And Keira has the 4th highest physical attack overall. And then finally in agility, Ginger is actually 2nd place in agility, while Keira is in 6th place. Now, looking at some of the other stats that don't matter as much, it is worth mentioning that Keira has the 2nd worst health in the game, and Ginger is at 9th worst. And there's, you know, some other armor, there's some other issues with magic defense and armor and all of that, but that really doesn't matter when it comes to damage dealers. Yes, you want them to be able to take a little bit of damage, of course, but really what matters is that armor penetration stat, the physical attack stat, the agility stat, critical hit if they have it, vampirism if they have it, you know, that's those kind of stats on your damage dealers. And when it comes down to these two, just looking across the board there, they're incredibly similar, very, very, very close. Let's break down the skills because that's where the difference lies. First of all, we're going to talk about Ginger since this is a Ginger event. We have Lead Storm. Okay, quickly fire 7 buckshot rounds from the pistol, damaging all enemies. First of all, that is not a pistol. That is a minigun. That is a Gatling gun. That is not a pistol. That is not a pistol. That's like saying it's a shotgun. It's definitely not. Does 7 hits, very low physical attack modifier at 10%, but there are 7 hits, so it does stack up over time. Ability 2, the green ability, penetrating shot. This fires a missile that penetrates the enemy and hits the enemy directly behind them. So this will hit the tank and then the hero in the 2nd position. Kind of interesting ability there. Kind of boring, actually. I'm not sure why I said interesting. Sorry about that. Just changing my mind midstream. Blue ability is suppressive fire. Shoots in the air, damaging the whole enemy team with buckshot. And this is another relatively low physical attack modifier ability. It does hit everyone on the enemy team, so that is kind of nice. And then finally, the violet ability, Ginger's passive. Each consecutive shot with the basic attack, that is her just basic auto attacks, deals extra physical damage. If the current target of Ginger dies, the extra damage is reset. That is to say that it moves on onto the next target as the enemy team moves around, and if the enemy team dies, one of the enemy heroes dies, then it just moves on to the next target. Keira, everybody knows Keira's abilities, but let's talk about them one more time. Blade Whirlwind. Keira launches a whirlwind of blades. The blades reach the furthest enemy and then return, dealing damage to enemies as they fly and silencing them for 4 seconds on their way back. Let's go ahead and get this out of the way. Ginger has no utility whatsoever. Ginger is the most vanilla damage dealer in all of Hero Wars, with the exception of maybe Kai, though Kai does serve some purpose elsewhere. Kai does partner very well with Kark and other heroes, whereas Ginger doesn't really partner well with anyone. This one ability, having 30% physical attack instead of 10% physical attack, having a silence instead of no silence, this one ability by itself makes Keira a better damage dealer than Ginger. But let's move on. Green ability, Enraged Soul. Keira's speed increases by 5 seconds. This is similar to... it's not really. This is just a flat damage increase. Flat speed increase is always welcome on damage dealers. Blue ability, Dancing Blades. This is a passive skill. Keira's basic attacks can ricochet between enemies. The ricocheting blades deal 25% of basic attack damage on each hit. This is kind of like Ginger's Violet ability that increases physical attack over time, but just in a better form. And then finally, you have Keira's passive ability, Piercing Pain. This, if the enemy's armor is lower than Keira's armor penetration, her basic attacks deal extra damage. This is, again, yet another better version of Ginger's Violet ability. So, let's pause right here and talk about these sets of skills. For Ginger, you have a nice mix of single target, front load, and area of effect damage, but no utility whatsoever. Yes, we've already decided that she has high armor penetration, high physical attack, high agility, but what is she going to do with all of that? She's going to do damage, sure, but damaging an enemy team is not enough. Unless, of course, you're trying to overwhelm the enemy with fast damage to try to beat them in the first 10 to 15 seconds of the fight. And in that case, Keira's just a better option anyway, because of her pure damage, because of her better area of effect, because of her better stacking damage. Yeah. Ginger and Keira's artifacts are virtually the same. They are exactly the same. You have no reason to bring Ginger over Keira. They both have the same physical attack artifacts. If one of these was armor penetration, maybe if Ginger had armor or magic defense or some other utility-based artifact, then you might consider Ginger prevailing in this category. But the fact that both of these down the board are exactly the same stats. I mean, look at them. Agility max is 3990. Armor penetration there in the book, 10680 or 10,680. There's no change. There's no change. So you have marginally better stats with Ginger. You have incredibly better skills on Keira, and the artifacts are the same. And here's the kicker. Here's the thing that tops it all off. Ginger has all 4 of her skins. The Devil skin is one of the cooler looking skins in the game. It was something that was mentioned in the Discord earlier today. I think it's worth stating that it is a very cool looking skin. However, Keira only has 3 skins. So she still has room to grow, and she will grow. Sometime in the next year, maybe 2 years, Keira will get a 4th skin, and she will start to blow Ginger out of the water. And Ginger will need a rework. She's already had a rework. Ginger will need a rework in order to stay competitive with Keira. And she's already not competitive with other heroes like Kark, right? So, the odds just keep stacking against Ginger. And somebody said that she was a noob trap earlier, and I kind of agree. Ginger is kind of a noob trap. You get her way sooner than you get Keira. Ginger's all over the marketing. Who doesn't like a redhead compared to a floating undead thing? But Ginger just doesn't stack up at all when it comes to physical damage against Keira. Maybe if she went back to her critical hit status and she got reworked a little bit, I don't know. But let's just talk about teams to level with these two heroes. This is one good bit of news about Ginger, is a lot of the heroes that work with Keira also work with Ginger. And whenever I say this is good news, I mean to say that it's good news because chances are when you ultimately decide to switch away from Ginger to Keira or to Kark, a lot of the heroes that support Ginger also support those other heroes. Most tanks work with Ginger and Keira. Ching Mao, Jet, and Sebastian all increase Ginger and Kira's damage output. Support characters like Anvari, Nebula, Jorgen, Celeste, they all fit in very well with Ginger and Keira both. In both cases, Dorian is a better healer. Ginger slightly has better synergy with Dorian since Ginger is so far back, but that's really it. So when it comes down to the conversation between Ginger versus Keira, this conversation would have been much more interesting if Ginger was a critical hit hero. If they weren't so similar in stats, if their artifacts weren't exactly the same, if Ginger's abilities weren't so bland, this would be an interesting conversation. But hands down, Keira is the winner between these two. And to any new players considering which of these two heroes to level up for their physical attacking team, Keira is by far the best physical attacking hero in the game, aside from Kark. So I would say I would highly recommend going with Keira. I wouldn't say that Ginger is a dead battery hero or a poop tier hero or an F tier hero, whatever tier list you want to go with, because she does work in some instances. I mean, you throw Galahad and Ching Mao and maybe Jet and Sebastian back there, she'll be fine. I mean, you'll be fine. You just won't be as effective as a Keira team. So with that being said, let me know in the comment section how you feel about Ginger. Let me know what teams you have with Ginger that work. I would be surprised to see if they're more effective than the common Keira blender teams or any of the common Keira control teams. But I'm still definitely interested. I really like redheads. I mean to say, I really like Ginger, excuse me. All right, enough of all that. I love you all. Good luck in Dominion.